Have you ever said a sentence correctly and it still sounded flat? Well, imagine you said, I finished work. A native speaker says, I finished work, or I finished work, or I finished work. Same sentence, different meaning. Why? Because of intonation. So, today I'm going to teach you rising, falling, fall and rise of intonation, how intonation changes meaning of a sentence, right? Intonation in questions, intonation in lists, emotional intonation. Common mistakes that we Indians make when it comes to intonation. We'll also share some practice drills. So by the end of this video, you will sound more natural, expressive, and powerful. So let's begin. What's intonation? Intonation is music of English. It's the rise and fall of your voice when you speak. It's not grammar, right? It's not vocabulary. It's not pronunciation of individual words. It's your voice movement. English is stressed time language, which means rhythm and pitch matters a lot, right? So without intonation, your speech sounds robotic. For example, flat tone, I'm happy to see you. And then with intonation, I'm happy to see you. Huge difference, right? Let's look at three main patterns of intonation: rising, falling, and high rise, rising and falling, right? So we'll look at falling intonation first. Here, what happens is your voice goes down at the end of a sentence, and you would mostly use this pattern in declarative statements, not when asking questions, right? Commands, strong emotions, WH questions. Example, I finished the work. Intonation goes down. WH question, where are you going? Intonation goes down, right? High inflection is toward the end, is never good when you speak. So if you are using a declarative sentence and your pitch goes up toward the end of sentence, it's not good. So another example, commanding, close the door. See, close the door, up and down. Emotion, that's amazing. Your voice drops at the end. Now you see that high inflection problem usually occurs with certain females. Not generalizing it, but that's the harsh reality. Some would have this habit of saying, "I'm going to school. I'm going to office." So every time they say something, the voice or the intonation goes high, which is incorrect way of speaking. Now let's look at rising intonation, right? You would use rising intonation for or when you're asking yes and no questions, close-ended questions, for a confirmation, right? When you're surprised. For example, are you ready? The intonation goes high. Did you call him? Again, the intonation is high. When you're surprised, really? Intonation is again high, right? So if your voice rises, it sounds like a question or uncertainty. That's high rise intonation, right? So always use that when you're asking questions or you're uncertain, right? And you're surprised, then your intonation, your inflection would also always be high toward the end of the sentence. And then you would sound proper, good. Now let's look at fall rise intonation. So this this you would use when you're being polite for politeness. for uncertainty again, for soft disagreement or incomplete ideas. So I like it low intonation and then it rises. Low and rise intonation, right? Start with low intonation and then rises. We'll take another example here. So that's interesting. So, what you're trying to convey here is you say that's interesting, which means you don't fully agree, right? This adds a subtle meaning to the sentence. Now, intonation changes meaning of the sentence. Remember this, and we'll take a look how. Same sentence, different intonation, different meaning, right? Let's look at an example here. I'm going to use the same sentence in three different forms. One would be statement, then question, and then doubt or surprise. So I'd say, you finished the report. That's a statement. And if I say it like this, you finished the report? Question. Now if I say, you finished the report, I'm doubting or I'm surprised, right? Let's look at another example so it clarifies even further. A sentence, I didn't say he stole the money. And we're gonna focus or change intonation on say and he. I didn't say he stole the money. Or, I didn't say he stole the money. Now, I didn't say he stole the money. See how the meaning changes in the first sentence when you say, I didn't say he stole the money, which means I didn't say it. Maybe you implied it, right? When you say, I didn't say he stole the money, which means I didn't say he stole the money. Maybe someone else stole the money. So intonation works with stress to show emotion and focus. All right. Now we are going to look at intonation in questions. So focus here. It's very important. When you have WH questions, by that I mean questions starting with W, where, right, when, why. You could have your intonation going down, right? Falling intonation, for example. Where are you going? Why did you do that? When are you going to arrive? See, you started with rising intonation, but then it fell down. That you can use only while asking open-ended questions, which has W and H. How? For close-ended questions, wherein you're just going to get yes or no answer, your intonation always has to go high toward the end of sentence. For example, are you coming? Did you call her? Is this yours? So intonation goes high with close-ended questions. Now many Indian speakers use flat tone, and flat tone sounds very mechanical and robotic, uninteresting also. People would feel that you're not interested to talk, right? Or you're not interested in the topic that being discussed. It can come as rude as well sometimes. So be very careful with the intonation. Now let's look at intonation in lists. So when listing items, right? When rising, use rising tone when you're starting with the list, but falling intonation with the last item. For example, I bought bananas, oranges, and apples. I bought oranges, bananas, and apples. This signals completion. Always end with the falling tone when you're listing items. Now, let's look at emotional intonation, right? So, intonation expresses anger, sarcasm, excitement, disappointment, right? For example, oh, great. That's more like sarcasm. You're not interested. Oh, great. If you say the same word or same phrase with excitement, it will sound more like this. Oh, great. Uh, and if you want to act surprised, I'm going to use another sentence here. You'd say, you did what? Surprise or anger. If you know that somebody did something wrong, like, you did what? Right? So without intonation, emotions disappears. Actors practice this in drama training. Let me tell you that. And if you're in customer facing role, you really, really need to get your intonations correct. Now, let's look at some of the common mistakes we Indians make when it comes to intonation, right? What we do is we speak in flat tone, not lowering the voice in statements, not rising the intonation when asking questions, right? And rising, let's say, tone after every declarative sentence, which I was talking about earlier, high inflection. So remember this, English is stressed timed, like I said earlier. That's why pitch variation is, essential here, right? To practice, I'd say, um, talk to, you know, um, talk to people who are native speakers, right? Watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of web series, and observe how they speak, how their intonation goes up and high. You've seen ocean waves, right? The waves are never flat. It's always rising up, lowering down, right? Rising, falling, and that's how your intonation is supposed to be. But you need to be very careful when it comes to syllable stress as well. So stress the words correctly, so the meaning is not changed, right? Now we also going to look at our practice drill. We're going to go through that right now with you, so let's get started. We'll start with a declarative statement. So here your voice will go down. Okay. I finished the work. I finished the work. I finished the work. Okay. Yes and no question, wherein your intonation has to go high. Did you finish the work? Did you finish the work? Did you finish the work? Up, right? For WH questions, again, the intonation has to go down. Did you finish the work? Did you finish the work? Down, right? For list, I need a paper, pen, and a pencil. Completes the sentence. Practice recording yourself and compare the video, right? My last tip here would be when practicing, um, exaggerate first so that your words come out clear from your mouth, right? Make the rise and fall very obvious. Then it becomes natural, over time. Then reduce it slightly, right? If you practice with energy, your real speech improves very fast. So, if this video helped you, comment mastered intonation, and I will teach you connected speech and neutral rhythm in English in the next video. And also, do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends and family members, and anyone who is learning English and you think this video can be helpful to them. You were watching Learn Fluent English with Raj. I am Rajesh, and I will see you in the next video.